I'm so excited to be here. I mean, this is a panel that we've been waiting for. The impact of the pandemic on education. I don't think there's a person out there, even grandparents, that aren't impacted by the pandemic and what it has done for education. So, without any further ado, I want to introduce our nonprofit of the month, which is Middle Earth. And I know a lot of people don't know a lot about what you are and who you do. So, if you can just introduce yourself, your organization, and how you started and what you do.
Okay, thank you very much for having me. I always like talking about Middle Earth. So my name's Maria Estrada, by the way. I'm executive director here. I have been working here for 24 years. So I clearly love it. And it's funny because Dan Puntillo was the previous executive director. I see people nodding their heads. Everyone seems to know him. He's a great guy. And I really lucked out in this job. I was at a point in my life, I had 2 toddlers and my dad was sick, and I wanted to stop my full-time work at the county, but I wanted to keep my toe in the working with youth. And I saw Dan at a meeting, and I said, could you give me something, maybe 5 or 10 hours a week, flexible hours, pretty much asking him for like a dream situation. And he said, sure, we can make that work. And the rest is history. So I was fortunate enough to take over as executive director 9 years ago. As I said, I just really love what we do here. There's a real passion for working with the youth that we serve, and it has always been about working with the kids in the community that are most at risk. We are, believe it or not, going on our 50th year next year, so we're going to hit a big milestone. We serve youth in Somerset County, all youth. However, we tend to focus more on the needier communities. So we have a very heavy presence in Bound Brook, Franklin. We started a lot more work in Manville, North Plainfield, South Bound Brook, but we are open to the whole county. We started as a drop-in center in a church basement in Somerville. In direct response to kids who came up to community leaders and said, look, can you give us a safe place? We need some place to hang out. We don't want to get in trouble on the streets. And so the church offered a basement to those youth. And with a group of volunteers, that's how Middle Earth got started. So I cannot underestimate enough how important just a safe space is for the kids. A lot of times when people see our drop-in centers, they see the pool table, the games, the fun, and they think it's just fun and games. It's so much more. It's really the heart and soul of our agency. It's the foundation that we were built on. We responded to the kids needing something, and we provided a safe space, really good positive role models, and we give them structure and support. And it's really, that's what we're all about. That's our heart and soul. We want to show kids respect so that they learn how to give respect back. A lot of times people say, they should respect us first. Well, they can't if they don't know what it looks like. So we do that and role model that for them. From the drop-in center, we've expanded greatly over the years. We were kind of known for a long time as working with the quote unquote bad kids. They were the kids that were known to the police. They were involved in the juvenile justice system. That's where I got my start here at Middle Earth. That's where my heart is. I really feel like those kids need a lot of support and guidance. I've seen great success working with them. But from that program, we've really expanded. And now we work with kids as young as 8 years old and as old as 24. We have a variety of programs, not just the drop-in centers. We do lunchtime mentoring in the schools. We have a very structured after-school program in Bound Brook and Manville for kids in 3rd through 6th grade. We do youth college readiness in Bound Brook, Manville, and Bernards, believe it or not. We do a station house adjustment program for first-time petty disorderly offenders. We have employment readiness programs that focus on kids who have dropped out of school. So they get, employment readiness skills, a paid internship, and then we help them to either maintain full-time employment or go back to school. And we help them get certification in certain areas as well. We have a student leadership program called the Student Ambassadors for Community Health. That's a newer initiative. That's in partnership with 4-H. And it's really awesome. It's focused in Bound Brook. They've done some really great projects there. It's all about getting the community residents to feel as if they're have a healthier community overall. So they recently just built a little free food pantry that people can access free food. They actually renovated a whole park one year in Bound Brook. It's a small park. They actually built a whole pavement, like a walkway. The amount of work they put into that was unbelievable. It was so hot that summer, but they did it. So it was really impressive. But we're getting leaders in the community that are young who get passionate about wanting to make their community better. So we have a lot of different programs now, serving a lot of, like I said, a different age range than we're used to, but the principles are all the same. We want to just give kids safety, good positive role models. We want to teach them about making good choices and consequences of making maybe not so good choices. So we are really committed to maintaining long-term relationships with our kids. That's another thing that we have a very strong reputation for doing. When I came here, my first day here, Dan had somebody in his office that had been a kid in Middle Earth for 30 years or 25 years. So that spoke volumes. We maintain those relationships, which is really significant and important. We love collaborating with other people as well. We have a very good reputation working with other agencies and schools. We know we got to do it together. So we love to partner with people, and we know what our expertise is, and we know when we need to say, hey, we need some help from someone else. And so we bring in agencies from all over to augment our programs and make them stronger. So I threw a lot out at you.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. So real quick, besides getting some of those delicious burgers and dogs, if they ever have the 4-H fair again, how can somebody help? What can people do to help Middle Earth?
Well, I mean, really at this point, before pandemic, I would have had a different answer maybe, but now that we're in the pandemic, our needs are basic needs for our families are even more acute. So we get any assistance with getting food or clothing or assistance for our families in that way would be an amazing thing to do. There's always volunteer opportunities for people, whether you want it to be a long-standing thing or even a one-time thing. For instance, in our employment readiness programs, we always love when professionals come in and do mock interviews with our kids. It makes it more real, and they can learn a lot from that. So there's different opportunities in that way. And we're always looking for board members or people who might want to, get more involved in that way as well, kind of with, developing our board and especially with, coming up with our 50th anniversary. We're hoping to plan something big, and, we would love to have any help with that as well. So there's lots of opportunities. It just depends on how involved, you'd want to be.
Excellent, excellent. So that's our featured nonprofit for this month, Middle Earth, and we're lucky, and Maria will be staying on for the first